In the year 1095, a single speech changed the course of history. A pope in Rome stood before a crowd and cried out, "God wills it!" Those words would send tens of thousands marching toward the Holy Land, armed not just with swords, but with faith, vengeance, and desperation. This was the First Crusade. Part 1. The World Before the Crusade. Europe was struggling. Famine, chaos, and violence filled the land after centuries of warlords and kings fighting for power. But far away, the city of Jerusalem, sacred to Christians, Muslims, and Jews, had fallen under Seljuk Turkish control. And the Byzantine Empire, once mighty, was now begging for help. In desperation, Emperor Alexios I sent a letter to the Pope, asking for knights to defend the East, but what he got was much more than he ever imagined. Part 2. The Call to Arms. On November 27, 1095, in the French town of Clermont, Pope Urban II addressed a massive crowd. He told them tales of Christian suffering in the Holy Land. He promised that anyone who fought to reclaim Jerusalem would have all their sins forgiven. The crowd erupted. Deus vult! God wills it! That cry spread across Europe like wildfire. Peasants, nobles, knights, even criminals took up the cross and began the long march east. Part 3. The People's Crusade. But before the knights could even organize, a man named Peter the Hermit led thousands of ordinary people, farmers, women, and children, on what became known as the People's Crusade. They were untrained, unarmed, and unprepared. Most never even reached the Holy Land. They were ambushed and slaughtered in Anatolia. The journey ending in tragedy before the war even began. Part 4. The Prince's Crusade. Then came the real crusaders, knights led by powerful lords, Godfrey of Bouillon, Bohemond of Taranto, Raymond of Toulouse, and others. Each swore an oath to Emperor Alexios, though few intended to keep it. Together, they crossed into the Holy Land, laying siege to cities one by one. The siege of Antioch lasted 8 brutal months. Starvation, betrayal, and disease killing thousands. But when a priest claimed to find the Holy Lance, the weapon that pierced Christ, the Crusaders were filled with new fury and stormed the city in a miracle victory. Part 5. The Siege of Jerusalem. Finally, in July 1099, after 3 years of suffering, the Crusaders reached Jerusalem. They built siege towers, set fire to the walls, and after a brutal assault, they entered the city. What followed was a massacre. Muslim and Jewish inhabitants were slaughtered. Blood ran through the streets, as one chronicler wrote, up to the ankles of the Crusaders. In the chaos, a new kingdom was born, the Kingdom of Jerusalem, ruled by Godfrey of Bouillon, who refused to be called king. He said, "I will not wear a crown of gold where my Savior wore a crown of thorn." Part 6. Legacy and Reflection. The First Crusade had succeeded, against all odds, but it left behind centuries of mistrust and bloodshed between East and West, Christian and Muslim. It was both a story of faith and fanaticism, of courage and cruelty. The echoes of that first holy war still shape our world today.